Hi, welcome to Mind Your Own Music Business. My name is Jesse Goldberg, and my guests today are Howard Harris. I forgot your last name. Howard Harris and Laura Cash, a famous Cash, like one of the Cashes almost, right?
No, not a famous Cash. Behind the scenes Cash.
A Cash, anyway. The closest I've come to a Cash. And, well, mine's a Cash. And Howard, you run some kind of fiddle contest or called the Grandmaster Fiddle Championship.
I do.
That your father used to start it and you continued, right?
That's correct.
And you gave me a hat. See, I'm going to wear the hat the rest of the show.
Oh, bless you.
See, I got a hat, Grandmaster. Maybe I'll wear it. Okay, anyway, so tell me about it. What exactly is it?
Well, the Grandmaster Fiddle Championship dates back to really to the 60s. My father was a medical student in North Carolina. He loved fiddling. And when he moved to Nashville and went to school at Vanderbilt, he met Howdy Forrester, Howard Wilson Forrester, a big Howdy, who was one of the greatest fiddlers of all time, and played for Mr. Roy Acuff. And they struck up a friendship, and that developed into his influence to start a fiddle contest. He never understood, because the Grand Ole Opry started with one man and a fiddle, George D. Hay, in 1927. And he never understood why the Grand Ole Opry didn't have a fiddle contest. So he kept lobbying and lobbying, and finally, in 1971, Mr. Roy Acuff turned to Bud Wendell one night backstage in Mr. Roy's dressing room. He said, "Perry wants to have a fiddle contest." And Mr. Roy told Bud, he said, "Let's do it." And so they did. They got on the old Watts line and called all over Texas and all over the country. And
so it's like a fiddle contest, like the Charlie Daniels song, like, you know,
The Devil Went Down to Georgia?
Well, you know, how do you judge who's the best fiddler?
Well, there's a lot of different ways to do that, but it's tone, timing, execution. The contest fiddling, which is what we do, is not so much about showmanship. As a matter of fact, our judges are sequestered. They can't even see the contestants while they're judging them. They're back in a room with headphones, or they cannot. There's no visual influence at all. Well, it depends. Are you playing a waltz, a breakdown, a hoedown, you know, a jig, you know, so there's...
Well, does everybody play one song, or do they play a whole bunch of songs?
Well, they play a whole bunch, but in a fiddle contest, there's a lot of standard tunes, and I brought one of the best fiddle players around to demonstrate that for us.
That's Laura Cash.
It is.
Johnny Cash's daughter-in-law.
That's correct, yeah. Right. John Carter's better half, and the mother of two lovely children.
Okay, so before we go on to that, tell me more about this. How long does each person play for? Well, maybe you could tell me. You were in the contest, right?
Yeah, I've been a contestant actually at the Grandmaster since
and a top 10,
14,
top 5.
So
since you were 14,
just a few years ago, right? Most fiddle contests are basically set up the same way, where their fiddle player plays 3 tunes, and they play a sort of a fast tune, like a hoedown, and we call it a breakdown. Texas style players. And the second tune would be a waltz, and then they allow a tune of choice, which is something that's a different timing than a breakdown or a waltz. So like a rag or a polka or a jig or whatever. And so at some contests there's a time limit. Most contests there's a time limit.
You said there's a third tune.
That was the third tune,
the
tune of choice.
Was
breakdown, waltz, tune of choice.
Oh, tune of choice, okay.
And some contests only give you 4 minutes to play 3 tunes. So you have to pack everything you can into a short version of the tune.
Now, do you play by yourself, or is there a band with you?
Well, most fiddle players get at least 2 accompanyists. Some contests allow 3. So usually 2 standard 6-string guitar players playing kind of like closed chord rhythm, and sometimes people will get a 4-string guitar, tenor guitar, or a bass to play with them as well.
Now, when you did it, you came in 5th one year, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did. Now,
what was that like? Do you win money when you do this?
Oh, yeah. I think I won like, what, $500 or something?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That was a lot for me for at that point. I was 18.
Now the top prize is $2,000, and you get accommodations at the Hilton downtown Nashville, and you get an appearance on the IBMA, the International Bluegrass Music Association main stage, as well as an appearance on the Grand Ole Opry. And that has been tradition since 1972. Our champion has played the Opry every year.
Really?
Every year.
Right
Saturday
after?
night. Yeah.
That night.
Right after?
Yeah. Saturday night Grand Ole Opry. It doesn't get any better than that.
So when does the contest on? Saturday night?
Same day? All day Saturday.
And on that night they play the Grand Ole Opry?
It's usually over by 6:30 or so.
Right, and they play the Opry that night.
Oh.
A lot of times they play both shows.
Before the show you told me that you played in the Opry the first day you came to town.
I did.
Tell me that story.
I did. Well, it was a real surprise to me, and a real honor. But I had gotten to know Roy Acuff through the Grand Masters. He was always hanging around backstage at the Grand Masters, and he really liked young fiddle players, and he was really kind to me and a lot of other people. But he called me when I was in high school out in Oregon. Is Laura there? He'd say, and you know, a few times a year. And so when I moved to Nashville, I called him, let him know I was coming, and he said, well, make sure you come and let me know when you're at the Opry. I'll put your name on the backstage list. So I just thought I was going to go hang out at the Opry backstage that first night, and he brought me out to the stage with him and set me on Grant Turner's bench off to the side. And in the middle of his set, while they were reading the commercial, he looked at me and said, come here. And I was just like, me? And he said, I want you to play a fiddle tune for the folks. So I had no warning or anything. I played Sally Gooden.
Sally Gooden. Go about Sally Gooden now. That, you told me, we have a copy of that record here, and you said that's the first country record?
It is, the first country record.
Is this yours?
That's mine.
This is yours?
Yeah.
Well, let's see if we can get this, all right? The first country record. And it's 78 on Austria Victor, right? Or just Victor?
Yep, it's on RCA. A man named Eck Robertson came up from Texas to New York and told the people at RCA he was the best fiddle player around. And they didn't record him, and they listened to him and said, okay. So that was
you told me that Sally Gooden was what Paul McCartney used for the song Sally G.
That's what I heard.
That's what you heard.
That's correct.
Is that right?
Is that a true story?
That's an absolute fact. Yes.
But the words don't mean that. Sally G sounds like
it was
a real
just
person.
the melody. I mean, he was such a prolific and he is such a prolific and fantastic songwriter. He spent, and as I shared with you earlier.
Wait, is Sally Gooden the same thing? It's not the same melody as Sally G, is it?
Part of it is.
Sally G.
Yeah.
Is that how it goes? Sally Gooden?
Part of it.
Part of it does, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And he wrote the song. This was in 1974 when he was here with his family and came to the fiddle contest.
How long did he stay here for?
He was here for a couple of months. He rented a farm out.
Junior's Farm?
I don't remember whose farm it was.
That was the song on the same album, Junior's Farm.
I don't know, and it may be. I never went out there. I only met him at the fiddle contest.
You met him. So what was he like?
Well, it was a quick meeting. He was very gracious, and his wife and kids, just nice people. You know, just like us, just out for the afternoon, and until everybody figured out who it was in the crowd and in Opryland at that time, everybody started packing in there. So they snuck them out the back door, and they spent some time with Porter Wagoner and Dolly Parton, and
we have a picture of that too, right?
We do.
It's Paul McCartney with Dolly Parton and Porter Wagoner. Well, look at the hair on Dolly Parton.
I know.
Look at the hair on Porter Wagoner.
Oh, shoot.
Well, there we go. Well, you got it?
Yeah,
that's Michelle over there. She said, oh, shoot, but she's got it now. All right. That's Paul McCartney, Linda McCartney. I think that's Heather, the daughter, but I'm not sure. Kristen would know. And that's Dolly and Porter. Okay, we got it.
Stella?
Okay. Stella?
Stella's a sister.
Stella. No, I thought that the girl's name
daughter.
was Heather. Maybe Stella. I don't remember.
I can't
Gotta
remember.
get on my Beatles stuff. So you have these contests once in the fall, once a year, right?
That's correct.
So it's late September, early October, something like that?
That's usually the last of September or early
October.
October every year.
Does the same people come back? And how many people in the contest?
Well, it varies.
And where do you hold them?
We have it at the Nashville Convention Center, and along with the International Bluegrass Music Association, they have
Where's the
Fan
National
Fest.
Convention Center? Is that
Downtown.
The new one, or is it?
Well, the new one's not open yet. We've had it.
But I mean, you're going to have it at the new one?
Well, likely this year we're still going to have it at the current one because it won't be open.
Right.
And then at the new, when we transition over, yes, sir, we'll have it at the new one. And they're also going to try a tour on the road and have it in Raleigh, North Carolina, for a 2 or 3 year stint. So there's a lot of things in motion, but it is a wonderful thing, and people come. Many of the contestants come back every year. There's really kind of a contest circuit. Weiser, Idaho is a very famous and great contest, and then in Hallettsville, Texas, they have the Texas State Championship, or the Open. The inner circle people call it Fiddler's Frolics.
Is there a disqualification if you're a professional or something like that?
No, but professionals typically don't enter it because if they don't win, it doesn't help their career, and if they do win, people say the fix was on. I mean, some of our champions, many of our champions, like one plays for Rod Stewart, Janet Jacoby. We've got one that plays for Clint Black, Garth Brooks. Vince Gill, Alan
Jesse
Jackson.
Goldberg.
You know, all of the top players in the studio musicians.
And you
here.
played for a bunch of people, right? I was reading your bio. It says you got a, what's her name? Shelley Tennyson, is that her name?
Mm-hmm.
James House, Pam Tillis. You played with all these people?
I moved to town to play with Patty Loveless, and I was on the road for several years playing. And
With Patty Loveless?
I played for a year with Patty.
Everybody says she's real nice.
She is. She's a sweetheart.
Yeah, that's what everybody
She
says.
is. But I didn't really enter contests much when I was on the road, and I didn't do it because I was a professional musician, because I still loved contests. It didn't really make my contest fiddling any better. It probably made it worse. But I just didn't have the time there, you know, being on the road all summer. There's no way.
So if somebody's in Nashville and wants to get a hold of you for the contest, what do they do?
The best way is to go to www.grandmasterfiddler.com.
Grandmasterfiddler.com.
Right, all one word.
www.grandmasterfiddler.com. And I have a hat that you gave me. Grandmaster Fiddler. With a little. Can I keep this hat?
That's yours.
Really?
Yes, sir.
How do I look?
You look great. You just need a fiddle.
What? I need a fiddle. I can't fiddle though.
I can't either.
I can barely play the guitar. I'm a piano player. So
Well,
anyway, we're gonna transition here, and we're gonna have you play a couple things. And what are you gonna play before we do it?
Well, I'd like to kind of back up a little bit and talk a little bit about the history of the fiddle,
Go ahead.
and play a little.
When did it turn from a violin to a fiddle?
Well, I think that the early settlers in America brought it over as a fiddle from Ireland, Scotland, and probably early to mid-1600s. And
Didn't they have violins before that with Bach and all those people?
yeah, they did. But the Irish settlers really brought the fiddling. Fiddling was mainly used for dances and things in Europe, and it was easy to carry around. It's a light and sturdy instrument, and it's loud too.
Is that a Stradivarius you got right there?
No, but this is a 250-year-old German handmade fiddle that I've been
Really?
playing all my life. Have never
250 years old,
changed.
doesn't look that
Yep.
old.
Yep, 1750. So
That's probably the oldest thing in this whole
I'd say.
room anywhere, right?
Probably.
250 years.
Yeah, it's an oldie. It's a
Wow.
goodie though.
So what you going to say, history came from Ireland, then what happened?
Ireland. Well, it kind of made its way through the States and was Americanized to a certain degree. And we play a lot of these old tunes still in fiddle contests these days, but a lot of it has been kind of more commercialized.
So one of the tunes you're going to play is Gary Owen. That reminds me of, what do you call it? The Errol Flynn movie where he played George Custer, and then he learns, he gets the song, and then he and they all march into battle, and they all get killed.
Yeah, the legend has it that was the tune the last tune before the Battle of Little Bighorn.
Yeah.
Custer's last stand.
I see.
So I'll play a little bit of that.
All right, you ready? You ready? Here comes the sound. We're going to hesitate 1 second because we got to
Okay.
get the sound right. All right, play what you were going to play. And then we'll talk about it after.
It's a good one.
Okay, go ahead.
Good.
Thank you.
That's why I brought her.
Now should we go charge? Charge! That's, I see
I might
sitting,
tune up to
I see
standard
Sitting
tuning.
Bull, right, coming this way. So while she tunes that thing, tell me how do you get involved in this? Just your father got involved
Well,
in it?
as I said earlier, it was an idea and a passion of my father. And once it started, it took off. I mean, the entertainment they had between fiddlers was Porter Wagner, Dolly Parton, Marty Robbins, Roy Acuff and the Smoky Mountain Boys, just Jim and Jesse and the Virginia Boys. I mean, it was like having Tim and Faith and Garth and those type people today.
Why is it such a southern country thing?
Well, it's just
Square dancing, I think.
a lot of it was evolved around square dancing, and you know, the style now, that a lot of people refer to it as Texas style, and she'll share some of that chronology with us here in a few minutes, but it's just the way it got picked up. You know, as a lot of people say, is it a fiddle or a violin? Well, it's dependent on who's holding it and who's playing it. I mean, one of our champions, multiple champions, is Mark O'Connor. He's not known for being a Texas-style fiddler.
He was in your contest?
He won it 3 times.
Before he was famous for the musician of the year?
He won it when he was 13 years old.
Oh, wow.
13 years old.
And he was in your contest? Do you have films of these things?
We have a lot of audio. We've been doing digital audio for the last 5 years and DVDs, digital video for the last 3.
But nothing from years ago?
I've got everything from 1972 forward on reel-to-reel.
Reel-to-reel?
Reel-to-reel. Tape, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I haven't. It's got to be baked and transferred, and we're a 501c3 nonprofit, and we just haven't been able to secure the funding to do it. But one of these days, I need to win the lottery. I got to buy a ticket and win the lottery. Then we'll have it.
If Henry Ford was still around.
Let me tell you, Henry Ford.
What are you talking about, the car guy?
Oh, the 1920s. Laura, how many contests did he sponsor?
Well, he loved the fiddle. I don't think he was much of a fiddle player. I think he tried to play, but he loved the fiddle so much that he would sponsor, I mean, who knows, hundreds of contests regionally around all of his dealerships. He would. That was part of being a manager at one of his dealerships, is putting on a fiddle contest. And this was in the mid-20s. And in 26, I believe, he held this big Granddaddy Fiddle contest in Detroit, Michigan, and was a really big deal to him.
Yeah,
but
he loved it.
Kind of fizzled out after that late 20s.
I don't buy Fords anymore.
I don't know.
I like the
I'm a
Blue
Chevy
Oval,
girl.
but we've contacted them a couple of times, but it hadn't gotten any traction.
Ford stands for, right?
Fixed or repaired daily, or first on race day?
Found on road dead.
Well, there's a third one. I didn't know that one.
Yeah. I had I once had a 1982 Ford Granada. It was the least stolen car of 1982. That shows you what. Anyway, no pickup at all. Anyway, what do you got next coming up here? You tuned that thing.
I think it's pretty close.
That's all right. Nobody can hear anyway.
I was thinking
What's that Gooden? Are you going to do Sally Gooden?
We could do just a little bit of Sally Gooden. I was going to play a couple of old time fiddle tunes, and then show you kind of what the contest style fiddle playing is like.
So which one are you going to do first?
Just do like a little 10 seconds or so of a couple. This first one is called Ragtime Annie.
Okay, hang on a second. You ready? Here we go. Here comes the fiddle. Ragtime Annie.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Said Roy Acuff's favorite Ragtime Annie? That's a little bit of Ragtime Annie.
Why do you, we on again? Ready? Why do you move the bow like that, sideways?
Sideways, like?
Yeah, like why, yeah.
Did it roll a little bit?
Yeah, why do you do that? Is that purpose?
No, that was not on
She's
purpose.
trying not to
You're
poke you in
busting
the
me.
eye.
Oh,
You're busting me. No, I'm not supposed to be. That's not good technique.
What is the technique? What is the right
The
technique?
technique is to keep it upright like this. I get a little lazy or
Oh, okay.
a little cramped or something. And just,
I tried to play that once one time, and I couldn't figure out. There's no frets on the thing.
Yep, that makes it fun. It
Well, you
makes
don't know
it a
where to
little
start.
harder, but it makes
Yeah,
it
you don't know where to start and
fun.
where to stop. Do you ever play classical, like violin, like?
Never have.
you
Never
read
learned.
music?
I've never learned to read music.
Really?
Never
You
played.
just picked it up and moved your fingers around?
Well, I had lessons. I had a couple teachers, and then I had a really good teacher starting when I was 12. Joey McKenzie taught me how to play, and he's a world champion fiddler and national champion fiddle player, and he
Hold that up to you.
he showed me the correct technique.
Hold that
finally.
up, and you stick it under your, and that's for your chin. Is that? Oh, that's
It's
for
a
your
chin rest.
That's for your cheek.
No, it's a chin rest.
It's a chin.
technically, yeah.
Okay. And then you.
It's
And
kind of
the notes you said are the first four on the guitar. E,
support-
A, D, and G.
Except it's backwards. The E being the high,
note.
the high one, and then the A.
Oh,
and on
backwards. Okay. All right. Well, what do you got next here? Do Gooden, Sally Gooden?
Yeah, let's just do a
All
little
right,
bit.
wait, hold on. Sally Gooden's coming up.
least. It's a little scrapey, but
So
sorry
that was the first country song recorded
recorded, first ever recorded country song.
by some guy named
Eck Robertson.
Eck Robertson. I can remember that when
Texan.
I'm looking at garage sales.
A
He was a
Texan.
Texan.
What, September of 1902?
1922, you said?
22.
Yeah.
1922.
All right, so you got any more songs in there? We're done with the
Yeah,
songs.
we've got some more songs.
What do you got?
Hey, she's
We've got some-
how many times are you national champion?
National
Twice.
champion.
Yeah.
Twice national.
Yeah.
Where's that at?
Weezer, Idaho.
Weezer, Idaho?
Weezer,
So the
Idaho.
Nationals in Weezer, there's a place called Weezer, Idaho?
There is.
Really? Where is that near? Not that I would know, because I've only been
It's
to Idaho
an
once.
hour from Boise, I guess, to the west. It's about the nearest city.
Back when I was younger, they threw me out of Idaho. Said, we don't want people like you around here. I was hitchhiking,
Ah,
and I guess I looked kind of scraggly with long hair and a beard. And what are you doing here, son?
that's surprising. There's
well,
a lot of those up there.
What? Yeah, now.
No,
Now.
that's the Northwest is a pretty
so
rough
you're a
place.
trendsetter.
Yeah. Threw me out of Idaho.
Weezer is right on the border of Oregon and Idaho, and it's just about an hour. I guess it's a little northwest of Boise.
Well, let's hear
but
something else.
that contest has been going on for
And you've
60
won that how many
years.
times?
Twice. I won the junior division when I was 17, and then I won the adult division 3 years ago.
Do you still
there's a lot
playing
of-
with people around town?
Oh yeah, I play quite a bit.
You
I
ever
play
play
a,
studio stuff?
yeah, some. We have a studio. We own a studio and have a
Well,
home
your
studio.
husband, was he a musician? He's a famous guy, right? Sort of,
Yeah,
right?
sorta.
And
By
his,
default.
and his name is John Carter Cash? Oh.
Yeah.
So I'm not as familiar with this stuff as I should be.
Oh, that's okay.
Laura's also a very good singer, but she won't admit it. But she's really good.
I like to sing. I have a good time with it. Traditional old-time country music.
Like
50s
Molly O'Day
50s
type
style.
stuff, and
And
that I
a lot
like.
of Western swing and stuff.
Western swing. Okay, do you ever play on your husband's records?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, all the time.
Oh. That's because he doesn't want to pay you.
No, I'm close by, and he knows he better hire me.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Oh, he does pay you
Yeah,
then?
yeah.
Well, that's like paying
No,
himself.
he doesn't pay. He doesn't pay me. I don't
Okay,
charge
let's hear a
him.
couple more tunes before we stop.
Okay.
We only got a few minutes left.
Well, we've got, I can do a quick breakdown, waltz, and tune of choice,
Okay.
as in the contest, and I
Do
can
it.
just do a
we
couple
go.
quick ones. Let's see. Arkansas Traveler, I was going to play that to kind of show the difference between old time and Texas style, and I'll just do it real quick. There's a real simple version. The old time version was real simple, not so many notes. So then the Texas style players, Benny Thomason was the father of Texas style fiddle playing, and he went to a contest once and played his style and thought he was going to do well, but he didn't. They didn't really pay any attention to him, and so he made up his mind he wanted to stand out and be different. So he invented this style, this whole style that we all play now, and called
Benny Thomason?
Benny Thomason is the father
Benny
of
Thompson. Okay.
Thomason.
Thomason.
Yeah.
P.
Yeah,
Okay.
Benny Thomason. And he just learned to play around the tune, around the notes a little bit. So that same tune, he'd take that and go. So a lot more notey, still melodic.
Every
And,
time do you move the bow every time you
Not quite
play
every
the-
time.
change a note?
Most every time. But we
Like when
use
you go da 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 da, like.
see,
Not all the time.
yeah, I slur some notes together, but mostly try to short bow all
Right.
the notes.
Oh.
Some move too fast to do that with.
Okay.
Anyway, that's more like a breakdown style that we play for breakdown in the contest, which would be the first tune. The second tune would be a waltz, and a more contemporary sounding waltz that like contest style players would
Okay.
play. I'll play just a little bit of 50-year-ago waltz.
Very sweet.
That's,
Yeah.
Thanks.
Beautiful.
Let me get back to you for a second because we're running out of time. If people want to be in your contest, what do they have to do? They
Then go
just
online
call-
and register at www.grandmasterfiddler.com. There is no fee. There never has been, and as long as I'm fortunate enough to be a part of it, there never will be. There is no entry fee. You
Okay.
just sign up and show up. Then the preliminaries will be on Friday, and if you're good enough, you'll play on Saturday morning. And
How many people make it from the preliminaries to the finals?
Usually between 25 and 30.
How many usually get? in the
There's
contest?
sometimes 60, 70 people show up on Friday.
She mentioned something about age. She had a junior thing. Do you have a junior contest?
We are actually starting a junior contest division. Yes, that's being sponsored by the Hall of Fame. Gosh, I should have written that down. You caught me off guard.
Okay, so
Next time I'll have it.
So they're all. Anyway, we have to get going.
Well, it's been a joy.
Yeah,
It has been.
my guests have been Howard Harris, and Laura Cash, the fiddler
Thanks
player.
for having me.
Thanks for having
And
us. This is fun.
we'll be back next week with another edition of Mind Your Own Music Business.